5 things that Aston Villa and we as fans have learnt in Unai Emery's first 6 games. I've got 5 things that I've identified as key characteristics that I have seen as a fan, and I'm absolutely loving it. So, Villa fans at home, I want you to put in the comment section some of the things that you've seen. Maybe they're different to what I've seen, and it goes off like a fan forum every single time. So, let's get stuck in there then. So, let's go for number 1. Unai Emery's tactics, Aston Villa. We built him up when he come in as an elite manager. We know he's a sensational coach. We know everything about him. But could he do it at Aston Villa? And the answer is yes. This, for me, is the biggest thing that Unai Emery has brought to Aston Villa. I'm starting to see things I've never seen as a Villa fan on the football pitch. And it's only going to get better. It's only going to evolve. And Aston Villa are only going to get better. So let's have a little bit of a look at what we've seen from Unai Emery's Aston Villa side so far. So if we move that. So what are we? What do we do? So we are predominantly a 4-4-2 side with the ball and without the ball. We revert back to a 4-4-2 during games quite often. When we are attacking, we predominantly become a 4-2-2-2. And what this means is we have a double pivot of BOUBACAR, KAMARA and Dougie Luiz. We then have 2 midfielders, quite narrow, and that offers us protection in the middle of the park and allows us to be nice and compact and nice and organised. And then the 2 up top aren't generically a general 4-4-2, whatever you think of that as a 4-4-2. What you'll find is that one of the strikers will drift out wide, and that is pretty much on every instance Leon Bailey. We also drop into a little narrow box from time to time. When we need to be compact and when we need to be organised, we do go into a little narrow box. And then what we also do is then we can become a 6-3-1. So when we are defending, we could be defending a narrow lead. We could be protecting a lead. We then become a little 6-3-1. Again, this is a new system that I've seen, and I've not seen many sides doing this, is that what this enables us to do is the 2 midfielders that were sitting and occupying in this area, they offer protection into this area here and here, and then our back 4 becomes a little bit more narrow. And what we find is that it's difficult for teams to go around us, over us, and through us. So that's what we've noticed so far as well. We've also noticed that when we are defending, we are now starting to have a little bit more of an asymmetric feel. So what we saw at Villarreal with Unai Emery, his side were predominantly asymmetric. What we're now seeing at Aston Villa is that when we're attacking, our left back, and this is why I think Alex Moreno is so important. When Alex Moreno is going to be now bombarding down that left-hand side, he's going to be driving forward, he's going to be attacking with pace, with intensity, and looking to get the ball into our forwards. We now start to see our defenders tuck inside. So we're now starting to see our right back more of a defensive right back. So I don't think we're really going to see our right back going forward too many times. And this is where we're starting to see the system evolve a little bit. At the start, we were very organised, very compact. And now we're starting to be a little bit more expansive. And we're starting to see Unai Emery's system slightly evolve. So what we are starting to see as well is when the system looks a little bit like this, we're now starting to see our system mirroring the Villarreal system, where we're starting to look a little bit more asymmetric, and we now have this asymmetric feel to us. So I'm absolutely loving watching Aston Villa under Unai Emery. I think it's a breath of fresh air. I think it's so great that the fans can really see what we're doing on the football pitch. So if we have a look at some of our average positions, you can really start to see a shifting and a change of the way that we're starting to play. So this was a generic, this was a generic 4-4-2 shape that we've played. So as you can see, you've got your left back, your right back, and you've got your 4 across the middle of the park, and then your 2 strikers. We've then also seen us be a little bit more compact in the middle of the park again, starting to edge to more of an asymmetric feel. And then if we go to this one, you're now starting to see again a shift of an asymmetric feel. And then I think there's one more. No, there's not. So you can start to see that 4-4-2, 4-4-2, nice and compact. This is where we started to see Leon Bailey drifting out wide a little bit. And then you're starting to see here an asymmetric vibe as well. So I think it's good that we're starting to see an evolution. And what we're starting to see as well is that game on game, the tactics differ and they alternate. Sometimes we need to be more compact, more narrow, more organised, which is what we saw against Leeds. But then when we started to be a little bit more expansive against Spurs, we started to see Leon Bailey drifting out wide. And that's where we started to see Villa a little bit more expansive. I would say watching Aston Villa so far, there's been games where we've been dogged, compact and determined. I'd say in that you'd say Brighton, Wolves and Leeds. I think those have felt like away performances. And then the games where we've been quite attacking, I would say Manchester United at home, Spurs away. I'd say those were the games where we've really looked quite expansive and the side has looked more free-flowing and we've had more of an attacking feel about us. So if we have a look at some of these slides, what you can see is you can really start to see, let's go back here. You can really start to see some of what I was mentioning on how we were playing. So against Spurs was a really good one because you saw so many different formations in one game. So this is where you can see us defending. And then we've got this nice, narrow, compact little square in the middle of the park. But we've also got players that are dropped into defence. Again, you can see here where we've gone to the 6 at the back, defending with strength and unity. And then on this one, you can start to see the expansive 4-2-2-2. You've got the double pivot of KAMARA and Luiz. You've got 2 central midfielders here. You've got Bailey that's tucked inside. And then you've got Watkins and John McGinn that are really offering that width. So there you can see the 4-2-2-2. Another thing that we've started to see, and it's something that Villa fans are a little bit edgy about, and I'm all for it. I absolutely love it. And I think that this is the way forward for Aston Villa. I know some fans hate it, but for me, the risk is the reward. The risk is the reward from playing out from the back. Playing out from the back for Aston Villa is here to stay. It's going to be here to stay. And it's something that we're really working on. And I think we're doing it quite well. And we're getting better and better at it. So we're starting to see Aston Villa playing out from the back. And there's groans and there's moans in the whole 10. But, you know, we're doing it quite well. And we're moving the ball well from the back. It's risky. I know nervy Villa fans don't like it, but I think when it works really well. And some fans might be a little bit confused of why we do it. So why are we playing out from the back? Well, it's all about drawing the opposition to us. What happens is, and what we've seen for so many years, is when you have a goal kick and you boot it long, what are you doing? You're having a 50-50, aren't you? You're risking a 50-50. So if that ball goes long and we lose that ball, we lose possession instantly. And when you lose possession against good sides in the Premier League, you're handing the opposition the initiative to say, all right, we'll come at you then. What happens when we play out from the back is that we are in complete control of where that ball goes. and we are building from the back. So if we're in control of the ball, we have possession of the football, and it's down to us to move the ball and dictate where the opposition goes. So what we're starting to see is the opposition are coming for us, and we're moving the opposition around the football pitch from the back of where we want them to go, and boom, we've gone. We are away and we are on the attack. So it's all about Aston Villa drawing the opposition in, setting a trap and going. So I'm going to share the screen with you now. So this was Prime playing out from the back against Leeds United. So as you can see, we've already drawn a striker into Emi Martinez. We've now shifted the ball to Ezri Konsa. You've got a Leeds player that's now going to be drawn into Ezri Konsa. You've also got another Leeds player who's going to be drawn into Ashley Young. So Ezri Konsa picks up the ball. He's brave. He does a shimmy, and he then passes the ball to Leon Bailey. But as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3 Leeds players about to be out of the game completely. Ball goes into Leon Bailey. A nice little flick. Again, the Leeds left back has been drawn into Bailey. Emi Buendia is now occupying a free bit of space. He then moves the ball onto Dougie Luiz, who then gives the ball onto Jacob Ramsey. So that shift from Martinez to Konsa to Leon Bailey has now gave Jacob Ramsey space to drive at the Leeds defence. And this is where we want Jacob Ramsey to be picking up the ball. He then plays the ball into Moreno. Moreno then knocks the ball into BOUBACAR Kamara. Kamara then picks out a nice little pass to Dougie Luiz, lofts the ball into Danny Ings, and Danny Ings should score. So as you can see from here, playing out from the back, we've now shifted the whole Leeds team around the pitch and then had this chance where if this had gone in, it would have been one of the best goals we've scored because it would have been pure, liquid Unai Emery, oozing silky vibes football. So there you go. That is playing out from the back. And, you know, there's a lot of risk, but there's also a lot of reward. So I just thought I'd show you a little bit of how we're playing out from the back. So for me, that's a little bit of an Emery tactical breakdown, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving it, Villa fans. We're showing fight, character, desire, passion when we're defending. Those are all key characteristics of an Emery side as well. So the mentality's there in the Premier League as well. So I think that's really good. And you can all see that the tactics on the football pitch. It's clear to see what we're doing, and we do have a plan. Now, number 2 is the fans. And we're now starting to see that the fans at Aston Villa are being looked at as one of the most important things for Unai Emery as well. We all saw the message from Unai Emery. We all saw that he spoke about Villa Park being a home, not a stadium. He spoke about Villa being a family. And I think those are all key things that harness energy and positivity onto the football pitch. And it's an important part because, as we know, football is nothing without the fans. If you don't have the fans on board, then you might as well pack up shop now because it's just nothing. So I think Emery has looked at us and realised that we can play a massive part in this and harness the energy and the passion and instill it on into the players and get them sort of motion and get them ticking. You see what's happening at Newcastle United. You know, what's happening at Newcastle is absolutely fantastic. You see the war flags before the games. You see the energy there. You see everything. And if the players are on board with the fans, if the fans are on board with the players, if the manager's on board with the fans, everything just works. Look at Everton at the minute. You know, they're an absolute mess. The fans are hating the board. They want the board out halfway through a season. They're then giving the players crap at after the games when they're in their cars. It's one big mess. So we have to be in it together, and we have to be on board, and we have to realise what we've got now. And I think for so long it's been, okay, yeah, we realise we've got good owners, but it doesn't translate to the fans. It doesn't translate to the players. It's all been in different parts. And Emery's now come in and he wants to bring everything in one place. And I think what he's doing is so clever, but it's so important. It's so important. It's just as important as Emery's tactics. You know, having the fans on board is just as important as bringing in the right players. Because if we have this vibe at Villa Park now and on the away days, the energy, it just brings positivity, and that is what we need to do. So Emery has also brought the fans more involved, and I think that is massive as well. Number 3 is 5 things we've learned is how important recruitment and transfers now are going to be. I think the recruitment has come under a bit of stick over the years and a bit of scrutiny, but I think what we've tried to do is we've always tried to back the manager, if that makes sense. So we've always tried to back Dino, and I think we tried to have more of a recruitment side of things, such as Lang gets the players and Dino had to coach those players. And in the end, I felt like that partnership didn't really work, but they were trying to give Dino the tools. Under Gerrard, they tried to give Gerrard the players that he wanted, such as Coutinho, Luka Dean, BOUBACAR, KAMARA. So you started to see the board shifting and backing the manager more. Ultimately, the manager couldn't do it. We're now starting to see Johan Lang and Unai Emery working as a team. Now, this is the most important recruitment strategy that I think we've seen. We know that Johan Lang is a data guy. He looks at the data of the players. He probably does a fantastic job of looking at the data, and he's got a big role to play in looking at the data of the players that Unai Emery now wants. But it's all now about Lang and Emery working together as a team to get the correct players in for the system that Unai Emery now wants. As fans, we can see the Emery system. Lang can see the Emery system. It's now putting in the pieces of the puzzle to get the Emery system motoring and getting us higher up that table. And I think the two together, we've already heard about Emery saying that he's really working with Johan Lang. We've now heard that Emery signed Moreno. Emery called Moreno. So it is Unai Emery's players that are now going to be coming into Aston Villa. So who Emery wants, Emery will be getting. And I think the strategy now is so important that the two work together. And I think that is important of what we've seen as well. Number 4, BOUBACAR Kamara. We have learnt that BOUBACAR Kamara is integral to Aston Villa. BOUBACAR Kamara is Villa's best signing this season, and he is also surely one of the signing of the season for the Premier League. You know, he has been absolutely tremendous. So BOUBACAR Kamara has been absolutely brilliant. So if we have a little look at BOUBACAR Kamara, some of his stats in the Premier League so far this season, we can see that he's rated 6.90 on SofaScore. And if we go down and have a look at his accuracy per game, 84%. Accuracy in his own half, 89%. In the opposition half, 76%. We're also seeing his clearances per game, 1.3. His duels, total duels won, 57. Ground duels won, 57. Aerial duels, 58%. So we're nearly hitting 60% mark for BOUBACAR Kamara. It's absolutely brilliant, Villa fans. He's going to the top. He's going to be a world-class central midfielder, and I think he's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, BOUBACAR KAMARA is going to the top, and we've learnt that we all knew we needed one, but he's absolutely fantastic, and KAMARA is amazing. And then the final thing that we've learned is that Unai Emery is the right man for the job. He is absolutely brilliant, and I absolutely love him. And there's not more that I need to say about Unai Emery, but one thing that I will show you, and I will show you this, Villa fans, is that in Unai Emery's first 6 games in the Premier League, Aston Villa's form is top 4 form. If we want a manager to get us into the Champions League, to get us back into Europe, he's the manager that can do it. And we're already seeing with the players that we've currently got that we can perform. Just think what we'd be like if Unai Emery could get the players that he wanted to fit the system that he needs. So we've learnt that Unai Emery is the right man for the job, and I am absolutely loving it. So those are the 5 things that I have learnt. Unai Emery's tactics, spot on. The fans have an important role. The recruitment is going to be right. The transfers need to be right as well. BOUBACAR KAMARA is absolutely going to the top, and Unai Emery is the right man for the job. So let me know your thoughts, Villa fans. Hope you've enjoyed it. Up the Villa.